Hey guys, welcome. Good to see you. We were going to run this live in Circle. So if you were in Circle, sorry about that. Lots of technical difficulties. We actually I missed the event last week. And then the technology, whenever I did get to it this week, didn't work. So much for technology. But we're going to have an amazing hour. We're going to keep this around 40 minutes. We're going to go straight into how to turn your skills that you've built with Content at Scale, which is one of the best AI writers for replicating that human-like SEO content writing process, how to take your skills that you've built, if you've used Content at Scale for any period of time, and turn that into a sellable skill or service or brand. So we're going to go through how to actually do that in this live stream. If you're on the replay, welcome. If you're watching us live, welcome. So let's jump right in. I'd love to know in the comments. Okay, cool. We got people that can see and hear. Awesome. I just moved to Arizona. I'm setting up my studio. So I got like, this wall looks nice. That wall has U-Haul boxes. So don't look that way. But I'm loving it out here. It's an amazing state to live in. We're near so much innovation between ASU, which is the first university in the States that adapted and purchased an enterprise license to ChatGPT and gave it to the instructors in the classrooms with the encouragement, replicate yourself in the classroom with AI. AI is arguably better than any human at this point. It had 50 years of progress in 2 years. We had a breakthrough in computing that brought us to that point. So we're in a truly incredible age where we can use AI to get ahead 10 times faster. And it's really going to be the people that are seizing this opportunity that get ahead instead of left behind. So how can we work with AI? That's what we should be asking ourselves. How can we work with it? How can we embed it into our services? How can we upskill, learn new skills? That would be AI skills. And how do we sell this and position it so we can really win and remove ourselves from more processes, which I don't know about you, I'm a big fan of that. So that said, if you are here and you have Content at Scale skills, you've used the tool, let's say for at least 4 months, and you are either currently selling it as a skill or you're figuring that process out, you can be at any stage. I'd love to know in the comments, because what I'd love to do is actually help you build your brand and position yourself successfully in a way where you're going to get more gigs and you're going to nail it as in what we call AIO service provider, which is huge opportunity. Let me tell you, huge opportunity. And this goes back to the last 12 months where a lot of things have shifted. Last January, I would say the majority of writers that I spoke to, that I met with, including myself, I was a reluctant convert last January. A lot of writers were not here where they are today. And a lot of clients were not here where we are today, where there is a lot of acceptance and just knowledge, awareness of how good AI is because of the breakthroughs this technology has had, where it's only going to be a 2 times 2. We're just going to keep multiplying and getting better and better. There's no going backwards at this point. AI is just going to get better and better. And the difference between Content at Scale and something like a single LLM, like ChatGPT, Gemini, previously called Bard, Anthropic's Claude, those are single LLMs. Now, Gemini, we just covered this on the Future Tense podcast, recorded that a couple hours ago. Go listen to that if you haven't. Jeff Joyce, our AI director, knows a lot about these models. He spends his days working with them. But whenever you think about it, you got to approach these things correctly. So a single LLM is a lot like a car part that hasn't been installed in an engine yet. It's up to us to build engines with these things that make work work. So Content at Scale is one of those engines. It's a stack of multiple LLMs, multiple large language models, and real-time SEO technology that the team custom built. It's a full-time team of devs involved in this product. Every single day, they're working hard to get this thing further and further down the road. There's no funding involved. It is 100% what our customers, what our users pay, and what they tell us they need. But this is a tool that was built with one main function to get your content, to allow you to generate high-ranking content through AI. And so it's been very successful at that. And that's why this is a tool that I recommend you learn, you get behind, and you build a process around, because it is like an army of human SEO writers. So if you compare that versus a single LLM has no parameters, and it's really just pulling from the internet at large. Years and years of human data. Oh boy. Imagine how good that could go. But for example, if you say, hey, ChatGPT or Gemini, any one of these single LLMs, and you prompt it and ask it to write a blog post or an email, what you're going to get is content that is not geared for success because you're using the Wild West. It has no parameters. But with Content at Scale, you're using a tool that has parameters built by skilled people that give you output that will work. So that's the difference. If you're new to Content at Scale, I wanted to explain that. So we have Corbin here, been using it since September. So you are within that 4 months or more, 4 to 5 months or more user group. And if you want to be a guinea pig, Corbin, let's do it. I'd love to know, do you have a website yet? Are you selling content services? So I'm going to go into a couple examples of successful brands. If you're new to me as well, which I think most of you are not, you are a member of the Content Hacker community where we tried to run this, but Circle broke. So here we are streaming. Good stuff. Good times. If you're new to me and what I do, I've been building brands. I've built around 15 different brands in the last 10 years. And some completely flopped. I have LLCs created that went nowhere. Some were test runs, but the majority did not. They were successful brands created for a whole bunch of different purposes, from niche to large agency. I created one large agency, not multiple. Clarify that. So I come from this world of writing and building businesses. So I'm able to speak to this with, last year I spent, well, the year before, years have been flying. Last year I was in AI full-time, but the year before that I was consulting full-time, and I help people build businesses. And some of these businesses 10x'd. So I think the opportunity here to take AI and deliver it as a service, again, if you're using the right tool stack, if you're using a single LLM, you're probably going to have to spend more time editing it than writing from scratch, which would suck. But if you're using a tool like Content at Scale, you can take pre-built content that is ready to go and simply edit it. And it just removes that whole human process of researching, creating an outline, going and finding a writer, going and finding an SEO editor, all of those things it removes. Okay, so Corbin says he's not selling it yet. You're still figuring out how to use it better within your niche of local business. Okay, cool. So I'd love to know, are you using it for yourself? Is that what that means? Are you still figuring out how to use it within your own niche? Which is a really good thing to do. If you're starting out and you want to sell AIO service, AIO content skill sets as a service, it's a good idea to build this as a skill for yourself before you then go sell it. However, that said, I have talked to some agency owners where I don't recommend that if they have a full-time writer. If you have a full-time writer, put that writer on our AIO kit. John, please link to this on the screen. I'm so thankful I have John backstage right now. So helpful. contentscale.ai/SOP. contentscale.ai/SOP. This is my 20-page guide that I give every writer that wants to become an AIO writer. It is my entire work sprint called the AIO work sprint, where you take AI-generated content and you get it ready for publishing. There's a whole series of steps there. And it's built around a framework I call CRAFT, which you've probably heard about if you've been in Content Hacker in any period of time, where you're cutting the fluff, you're reviewing the content, you're adding images, you're fact checking, and you're trust building. So Javier asks, is there a specific resource in the community to learn how to build a business from Content at Scale? I would say the resource to go to that I built, because I did build one, to learn how to build a business from using a skill set that Content at Scale helps you build would be the AIO Blogger course. That course was built to teach people how to approach SEO differently, approach content differently. So you get like a whole mind reset, because how you approach this is half the battle. The other half of the battle is the actual skill set. You have to approach it correctly. You have to have the right knowledge, the right set of skills. That's what you're going to arm yourself with to then go out and do battle and win wars. And literal analogies aside, be successful at what you do. So John, if you could also link to the AIO Blogger course. If you want to, if you're not in the community, that link is for people that are in the community. But if you're not in the community, go to contenthacker.com/course to buy that course. It's worth every penny, I can tell you, because it's not just teaching you the skill of AIO, it's also teaching you how to sell it. I have examples of brand building, of the right brand names to choose, how to position yourself for success. All those things are included in that course. And it is under, I want to say 6 hours. So we also tried to make it as simple as we could without, giving you like 30 hours of information, which is just, yeah. So it's 5 hours of very condensed, very actionable stuff you put to use right away. So Javier, if you're not in that course, grab that. Corbin says he's used Content Scale for a bit. Yep, you had a content shred done where we looked at your brand. We got Steve here who also started in December. So Corbin, do you have a website built? Curious. I don't think you're not selling it yet, but we don't know if you have a website yet. Because what I can do is look at your website and kind of guide you. Hey, maybe this is how we position. This is how we can sell this as a service. This is how we can speak. So we can immediately get that magnet reaction. If you I'm telling you, it's magic. If you figure out your messaging correctly, John knows a good bit about this too, then it works like a magnet where you can immediately, that person sticks. They're not going to go anywhere else because you just pull them in like a very strong magnet. So that's what you want to do. And that's called niching down, right? You can't be successful at that unless you speak to that person. If you're speaking to many, you're not speaking to your one. You need to speak to your one in order to be successful. So because we live in the most amazing digital age ever, yes, I'm quite the optimist, but I'm telling you, we do. You can really be successful at some stuff. So I want to go in two directions right now. First of all, I'm going to show you my own process, what we're actually doing to generate 500,000 plus visitors per month with AI content. If you'd like to see that, type in the word traffic. I'm going to guess most of you probably want to see that. So we'll start there. I'm telling you, that's the magic. Whenever you see what's possible, I mean, it's just like, the power of that, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start there. And then we're going to go into actual branding and positioning, which is also quite some secret sauce. Because when you figure that out, I mean, you marry a process, and then you marry a skill set, and then you marry a brand, and like you can step away at 1 p.m. and go hiking and your business is making money. And that is magic, right? So if that's you, that's the place you want to be in. Let's start by, I'll show you the traffic and we will go from there. Okay, so let's see. Got some traffics. All right. Corbin says, I was going to create another site that was selling done for you content. Okay, where you're going to gear it towards educating. Very cool. So I got some solutions for you there we're going to go into. All right. So first of all, let's talk about the actual skill. I'm a big believer in if you don't have the actual skill built and you're not practicing it. And here, let me clarify something. If you are a founder, you should not be doing this yourself. You should be hiring AIO writer and then build up your website, build up your presence through this skill set. And it is going to be so much easier to sell it if you are doing it for yourself. So much easier to sell it, I promise. Claire says traffic. And we got a question here, MCC White Hat. So if you're not an editor or writer using Content at Scale to just write the article and let the client and review it and rewrite it. So I would say that's something you could offer, but you're going to have more success if you partner with an AIO writer and you do the whole shebang. You're just going to have more success that way because you could actually lose clients if they know that they have to go in there, look at the content, look at a low SEO score, and they know they have to add in all the keywords, refine it, publish it, add images. That just sounds like work that I don't want to do. And if you create that creates some resistance for that client, unless like they have a whole writing team and you're in the position of an affiliate recommending Content at Scale. If you're in that position, awesome. Then just affiliate refer them straight to Content at Scale. And John, maybe you can share on the screen our link to sign up as an affiliate. That's what I would do. So if you don't want to deliver a service, just be an affiliate. Recommend this tool, create YouTube videos, teach people how to use it. I mean, the market's not even close to saturated. So so much room for that. Huge opportunity. So that's what I would do. Just send people straight to Content at Scale and sign up for our affiliate program versus offering a service of Content at Scale is going to generate the article, and then you're going to have to be the one to optimize it. You might as well just send them straight to Content at Scale and be an affiliate. But if you're building a service, I would recommend you get them all the way to published content. And I'm going to show you my process for that right now. Javier asks, I have a whole bunch of papers that I use for writing medical content. Is there an option on Content at Scale to train the LLM to use these resources to write the blogs? Absolutely. Yes, John got you covered there. If you upload a PDF or a raw doc, you can even have an audio file. We've seen thought leaders take MP4s from Zoom recordings, and that's the source input. So you can provide almost any source format and then turn that into the training, the prompting of generating a full blog. Just remember, this is an article writer, right? So you're working with something that's going to give you 3,000 words of high quality content. So I'm not going to send it 100-page PDF. I'm going to try to be to the point, actionable. I'm going to give it one specific topic, and it's always going to work better that way. Always. Yeah, absolutely. You're so welcome. This is fun. All right, so let's get into the process. And I'll share with you what we're doing with one AIO writer, who, by the way, is based in the Philippines and at $7 an hour. That was after a pay raise. She's very happy. So what I recommend is using this process for yourself because of how amazing it can get. All right. So first of all, I want to show you the traffic. So this was a couple months ago, December 1st to December 31st. This is the Content at Scale website, contentatscale.ai. And if you go to our blog, you'll see what our one AIO writer is doing. So we have 3 people total involved in this process and 1 person behind generating 50 to 70 pieces a month. So all these pieces of content that you see, we're going straight from Content at Scale to publish ready content with one AIO writer, 50 to 70 pieces a month. The topics and the strategy come from our SEO coordinator. Her name is Farnaz. She's also helping us link build, guest blog pitches, things like that, podcast recaps. So that's what she does. And then, of course, I'm like, hey guys, how's content going? Great. Awesome. I kid you not. Like, I don't do anything at this point. It's awesome. And we're getting that much traffic. I just showed you 500,000 in December of 23. Right now, in the last 30 minutes, almost 1,000 people. So organic search is by far our dominant traffic source. Wouldn't want it any other way. Studies have shown that the people that find you in organic search have higher budget than the people you can find through advertising. So people that feel like they're in control of the search for their answer, those people often have higher budget. All right, so let me show you the actual process. So in Content at Scale, all of my sites are run through Content at Scale now. Like all of the content I do on Content Hacker and Content at Scale, it's all, all of the content I do on contentatscale.ai is done through the Content at Scale tool. Quite meta there. So I'll show you my Content Hacker site. So this is one I did not, I would say, quote unquote, give up to AI content for a long time. I just didn't really trust any tool to come over, any AI tool to be able to go, okay, here's Julia's blog and this is good content. It's at this level. Let's replicate this whole level of quality with AI. I couldn't trust ChatGPT. There was no single LLM, right? And at the beginning of the live, we covered how a single LLM is not really built for that. It's really like the car parts, but it's up to Ford, Toyota to actually make that amazing car. So Content at Scale is one of those. It was built to be able to be a full service solution, one-stop shop for SEO content. So if we take that, we know what Content Scale is built for, then it should be a full replacement for an army of humans. And it is. It's worked really well. So here's the site, Content Hacker. You can see I've run 121 posts. I was doing an example here for a YouTube video coming out soon, which you should definitely watch, called How You Might Be Killing Your Content Agency. It's good. It's going to be good. Based on a discovery John actually made. When you feed the AI specific input, you actually derail the SEO success. So anyway, we purposely derailed that. All right, moving on. Here's what it looks like whenever we take AI content and it's ready for publishing. So right now, you're looking at my screen. You're looking at a blog for the keyword how to write a blog. Very meta. And all of this content, it's syndicated to our website through the WordPress plugin that Content at Scale comes with. So every project can connect to its own individual website through the WordPress plugin. One project is one website. So you're looking at content as I scroll that has been AIO'd. What does that mean? A writer hopped in here and optimized that content. They added some images. We got examples of blogging platforms outside of WordPress, which I don't recommend at all. Please don't ever use these. I'm just kidding. They're good for different purposes. But anyway, we gotta be thorough here. We're talking about how to blog. So she went and put together a bunch of logos for alternatives and then added that as an image. That's a nice touch. That's a supporting visual. Got a quote from an industry leader, Brian Clark, over at Copyblogger. Added that in. Another great touch. I have my window open and the air in Arizona is so much drier than the air in Texas. Crazy. Probably need to get a humidifier just in this room alone. Anyway. So here's another visual element. This is a little infographic from ProBlogger. So we're taking images that are in the public domain, or we are creating our own. Like you can see here, right? This little infographic we made in Canva. And then we've got screenshots of the tools that we're talking about. We got them in here to talk about them more. And then we're just cleaning up the content. So if you want that full process to do that, two things. Number one, contentscale.ai/SOP is a full guide on how to do that. So how to go straight from we ran a post for a keyword to content that's ready to publish, which I would say this content is. By the way, can I point out, it's really hard to train a writer to nail tone of voice. It's really hard because we are individuals and it's kind of hard for us to just pick up somebody else's style. And so I think that AI actually does a better job at this than humans. So in the project settings area, you can set up custom training and then you load your project with examples that you really like. And that's what we've done to get here. So when you read this blog opener, it's good. I'm going to read a little bit of it because it's just that good. And by the way, we didn't really edit any of this part. This is like straight out of AI. I'm wearing the shirt that says that. John probably is too. All right. You've decided to plunge into the blogging universe, whether it's sharing your passion, connecting with a like-minded community, or even turning a profit. Knowing how to write a blog is your first step towards success. I mean, that is not only zero fluff, but it's also something I would say, which is a little creepy because we haven't written a word of that. So, one of the things I've been saying for years in all my books, if you're going to start something, you're going to start to learn something, you need to learn how to actually do that thing, whether it's you've gotten a grasp and then you've handed it off to an AIO writer. That's sufficient. And you've put it into practice for a long period of time, or you're actually doing those steps yourself. So it's saying that it's like your first step is knowing how to write a blog. That's awesome. And that's something like AI has usually not been good at. It's so It's just, it has no source of truth, right? It has no compass. So something that Content Scale really nails is that compass. And if you leave it alone, and you'll see this in my YouTube video on why you're killing your content agency, total clickbait headline there, but it's good. The point is, if you leave it alone, you let it do its thing, it actually does a better job than if you guided it with a custom outline. So we've really just fed this thing a keyword. That's it. Right. And then we've had our AIO writer go into this. Even this sentence was not humanly written, but that's our CTA to our course. So how do we get that? Well, we went into the project settings, and in here, we went into the call to action. And after every intro, you can set a call to action. You can automate that. And at the conclusion, you can automate that. Right. So I have this little personal letter. It reads like a sales letter to the community. And I'm telling you, like, we just got a sale yesterday to this community. And it's coming from the blog. So this stuff works. And you really can automate content. I can't believe I'm saying that. I truly can't believe. John's probably shaking his head too backstage. Like, years ago, when it was the article spinners, I would be like, are you kidding me? You're going to use that garbage. But here we are. We've automated content and it's good. I was reading a stat where the prediction is that by 2032, I'm curious about the math on that. By 2032, 90% of content on the web will be, and I quote what the article said, synthetically generated. I don't know why they went with the word synthetically generated. But in other words, it's not going to be created by a human. And this is why we're looking at something that's so good, nails my tone of voice. It's getting me sales. Really important. It's got to actually convert. But AI did it, right? And if we run it through the plagiarism checker, this is an API call to Copyscape, then it's going to be 100% original. Zero plagiarism means 100% original. That's pretty amazing. And then it's also undetectable, which means if you run this through any AI detector, it'll pass as human content, which is really important. You know, Google looks for that in some of their ranking signals. Okay, so that's the skill set. And then what we've done is we've taken the work sprint of the craft framework and we've simply just trained the writer on it. And we have somebody from the Philippines paid $7 an hour. So what you can do is you could take this entire structure and resell it as a service. You shouldn't be the one living in here doing all the editing. Really, truly outsource that, even if you are the quote unquote content writer. I'm the content writer. I don't ever open this anymore. I leave that up to Chris, our Filipino writer who's amazing. And she's happy. And she just got a pay raise and it's still like next to nothing. So if we think about like the agency plan, or let's not even take the agency plan. Let's take like a lower volume plan. You're paying $30 for this blog. And then let's say Chris needed 2 hours to edit this. That's 14. So if we take baseline cost, 30 plus 14, we're paying out $44 for this one piece of content. I just talked to an agency owner today that is still able to sell a piece of content like this for $300. You know why? That client doesn't want to mess with anything I just showed you. They don't want to mess with setting up content at scale. They don't want to mess with finding an AIO writer. They don't want to mess with reading this content, making sure it's good. And if they're achieving their goal of traffic, which is what I just showed you earlier too, right? Like we're achieving our goal, 500,000 uniques per month with 50 to 70 of these blogs per month. Content Hacker, much lower velocity. We're making sales regularly from these blog posts, going straight to the community, going straight to a low entry course. We're doing 2 blogs a week there. That's a lot lower velocity. And we're at 10 to 15,000 uniques per month. So you really can go at this how you want. You don't have to do this high volume approach unless you want to. But find your AIO writer. And one last thing I'll add, we'll move to questions now and work through presence. So building your brand. One last thing I'd add is just driving home the point of really, truly don't do all this yourself. Go get an AIO writer. Truly. It's just, you really should be building your business. You really should be worried about clients and sales and income. instead of living in the deliverables of not just your marketing or not just your clients' marketing, but your marketing too. Because that's what this is for us, right? This is what we sell, but it's also how we build our marketing. Inbound content marketing is our primary form of marketing. So go to the AIO kit, and at the bottom of it, you'll have my steps on how to find an AIO writer. On the Content Scale YouTube channel, there's also a whole masterclass on how to find AIO writers. We've had a couple of people from the community put it into practice and find some really amazing writers, because one thing I recommend is to find somebody that's in your industry, right? So Chris, she likes marketing. She likes writing. Guess what we talk about at Content Hacker all the time. So you want to find a writer that's actually interested in the topics they're going to be optimizing, no longer writing, right? And I'm telling you, there's a million writers out of work overseas. So you're really going to have such a great talent pool, and you can teach them a new skill, because for a lot of them, this is a new skill. Okay, so let's move on over to questions and brand building. Looks like we got some great questions going on. I'll start with this one, Claire, although I think we have one even further back from Javier. So let's start here. Actually, do you see that one, John? Javier's question. I love that there's an option to write in different languages. Is there an option to have a platform in different language so we can promote it in different languages as an affiliate? Oh, what a good question. We should run that by the team and see. I mean, the only thing I'm trying to think, I guess you could use Google Translate and like create a version of the site. That's a quick solution I would recommend, because we don't have like the website and the platform written in different languages. So that would just be a quick solution, is use Google Translate and mock up your own version quickly, right? But that's a great question. I don't know if there's enough demand, it could be worth us building a solution just for that. So great question to bring up. All right, we'll move to Claire's. I'm struggling with how to promote myself as an AI writer when I feel the general perception of AI. Yes. All right. So let's go into this. This is the exciting part. Brand building. So that's what this comes down to. You're not going to promote yourself as an AI writer. Oh, no, you're not. No. You are going to promote yourself as a specialized expert delivering a specialized service, and you use AI to help them achieve their goal. You won't have any backlash. You won't. All right, so let's talk through how to actually do that. Jump into that right now. And we got questions from MCC White Hat. How do you find an AIO writer overseas? So all of this is answered in the Content Scale AIO Writers Kit that I've written, 23-page guide. John, let's leave that on the screen for a minute so people have that link, contentscale.ai/SOP. That is my lengthy guide. If you scroll to the bottom of it, you'll see my steps for finding an AIO writer. And you can find an amazing writer following those steps 100%. It's a job description you can copy and paste. It's where to post. It's how to train them. Because remember, if you think about this, you're building a business, right? And so your goal is to take the service deliverables and structure them in a way that delivers a service. So you are not the AIO writer. That's one piece of your deliverable. You're going to go find that writer, and then you're going to build a brand. All right, let's talk about that. How to build a brand. And Claire had a great question to kick us off in this direction. I'm going to restate it because it's so great. She's like, I'm struggling with how to promote myself as an AI writer when I feel the general perception of AI is that at some part it's cheating and it's generic. Well said, because the single LLMs are. So I'd love your ideas on how to promote myself. All right, so that's brand building, and that's what we're going to talk about now. So what you want to do whenever you're thinking, okay, I have Content Scale, it's the ability to produce nearly publish-ready content, right? Like our slogan here, straight out of AI. You can read my shirt. John, are you wearing the same shirt? I can't tell. No, you're not. Dang it. I was going to bring him on screen. I can't. It's okay. Usually John is probably the one rare day. He's not. Yep. Shaking his head. So you have the solution that replicates hours and hours and hours of time through AI, and it gets you to that end goal of nearly publish ready content. And we talked about this at the beginning. The difference between this and ChatGPT, Gemini, Anthropic's Claude is those are single LLMs that have no parameters, that have no source of truth, that have no research capabilities baked in, that have cutoffs with the time of their sources that pull from whatever the hell they feel like pulling. Whenever you use a tool like Content at Scale, you're using something that built like, it's like using the actual car versus trying to drive with the engine. You really can't get anywhere if you're just driving with an engine. Like, just, you're not going to go anywhere. But if you take an actual car and you get in it and you drive it, you get somewhere. So Content at Scale was built to deliver nearly publish ready content. And so it does the real-time research. It does the SERP analysis. It does all these steps that a human writer typically would do to achieve that goal. But you still need to optimize that content. And thus comes in our AIO approach, where you have a writer sitting in the driver's seat, optimizing that content, getting it ready. We just showed the whole process, right? The Content Hacker blog, the Content at Scale blog. We use that process. Making sales regularly. The traffic that find us through that content, they buy. It's working. So brand building. How do you build a brand selling this as a service? You don't promote that you do AI content. Oh, no. No, you don't. So I'm going to share with you some, because I think like examples really speak, right? So I'm going to share with you some examples of people that are really killing it on the internet, building a brand. So I'm not going to go like too top level. I used to like share people like Justin Welch, and now I feel like they're kind of unrelatable because they're just, I don't know. They're like, it's hard to just, I think, start out on X and LinkedIn and get that viral. Like, it's just not that easy, but there are things you can do that are going to be amazing. Okay. So number one is positioning to your ideal client. And what would be interesting is if we all did an exercise. And I'm pulling this from the coaching program I used to run. John knows about it. He was in it a couple of years ago, where the first steps we did was we got to know who we served, and then we spoke straight to them. So the formula for how to speak to those people is usually something like this. I help, talk about who you help, achieve X transformation without, talk about a pain point, something they hate. So let's repeat that. I help, insert who you serve, get specific, whether it's like realtors, bookkeepers, first-time moms. You're going to get specific, but you're not going to get so specific that you're talking about like pet hamster owners, although that actually may work. Striped pet hamster owners. There you go. That's too specific, but you almost can't get too specific here. So I help specific group of people achieve transformation, end goal, without what's that pain point they hate. So that's the exercise we did that always got you to a point of being able to create great messaging. That sentence is not your messaging. What you're going to do is take that sentence and create your messaging from it. Okay, so here's an example. He's probably going to get some followers today. Luke Matthews on LinkedIn. He's killing it lately, and he's a newer creator, up and coming from the UK. Now, don't be intimidated by all these followers, because he didn't have this many just a few months ago. Like, he was a nobody, right? So anyone could truly do this. But what he did was he nailed his messaging. And if you nail your messaging, you can sell like anything. Just build a good process and build a good deliverable that actually helps them achieve their goal. And if you're using Content at Scale in the AIO process, you got a great freaking deliverable that achieves a goal. You can sell traffic all day. I help you build masses of traffic without selling your soul to going live every day, without having to wear makeup, without having to worry about the camera at all. Realtors loved hearing about that. I was helping an agency owner position herself to realtors. She's based in Canada, and she was able to tell them, hey, you can build traffic and get $1 million contracts without going live once. Like that was her positioning. Because it was blogging, right? If you blog, then that is steady, consistent traffic. So she hit on a pain point that they hated. They didn't want anything to do. And she gave them a solution, which is that transformation. So what is that transformation you can offer counteracted by the pain point they hate doing? They would do anything but. The person, her demographic was often the guy that just hated being on camera, but was very, very good in person. So, oh my gosh, you deliver that person a lead, they're going to kill it. You ask them to go live, they're going to hate it. No, don't do that. She hit on a huge pain point, all right? But she's selling blogging, but she's not saying that. And she's hitting on her ideal demographic, the realtor in Canada. It's very specific. So let me show you a few things that this person does that really nails it. So he's teaching people how to build their business and online presence with LinkedIn and AI. So he has a newsletter. That's one way he's building his brand. Very simple, consistent weekly content. And then he has ghostwriting services, LinkedIn strategy sessions. And I like how he took his featured session and he turned it into an ad for all of his services. I love that. And by the way, it's so simple to do that. You just create a post like this. You create a post. Let's say I have a page that features my services. I talk about it here. I drop the link to my page and then I go to my profile. I find that post. And then I click up here. Find the 3 little dots and we're going to feature that post. Now, I don't think I can do it with a live stream. I need to find an actual post. There we go. All right. Feature on top of profile. There you go. Bam. Like anyone can do this. You know what I'm saying? Anyone can do this. You don't have to wait for virality. You don't have to wait for a following. You can really get this going now. So that's what he did. He made like 6 or 7 individual posts about his services and he put them up there on the featured. And it's interesting because these posts don't have any reactions. So this is back when he had no followers. I love that. Love that. So I also like how he made some meta images that showed him in the picture. So one thing I highly recommend to set yourself apart and to say, hey, I'm using AI, but I'm doing it in a everything Claire said that clients hate. You want to avoid like the plate. You don't want to be generic. You don't want to put a talking head other than you. You want to stand up and be present in your marketing. That's what Luke Matthews does really well. So whenever you're clicking on the newsletter, it's him. Whenever you're clicking on ghostwriting services, it's a close-up of him. Whenever you're booking a LinkedIn strategy, it's him. Right? So that's something I would really recommend doing is once you find out who you serve, find out what you want to offer them, find out their pain point. From there, you can get clear messaging and then really put yourself into your presence. Put yourself into your presence. I can't recommend this enough. And like, please look professional. I can't tell you, here goes the Julia rant. I can't tell you how many times I see newer entrepreneurs starting out and it's like a selfie of them that looks like they're in a basement. Am I going to hire Luke Matthews and pay him like a 10 grand retainer if his picture looked like that? No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm just not. It's not impressive. It's not professional. That's why like I'm here in a studio. My camera, my DSLR died. So my battery needs to be recharged or you'd see me on a DSLR because I want to impress you. I'm not kidding. Right? That works. And it's actually a differentiator now because we have AI and we have so many replacements for humanity that are not good. Whenever it's us teaching, whenever it's us selling, it needs to be us present. But that gets lost a little bit. So Luke Matthews didn't lose that. So like really go book yourself a professional photo shoot. And I mean, you know, it's him in 2 different color t-shirts, like not fancy, but at least he got it done. And so because he had a professional photo shoot, he can create imagery like this and it looks good. It's appealing. So that's simple. That is so simple. You can't tell me right now that you couldn't go get some nice photos taken of yourself. No, I won't accept any excuse. I won't. Be quiet. All those excuses coming up. Tell them to shut up. Go get a professional photo shoot and have those photos used in your branding. So you can see that what Luke has done is he's taken what he does and he's distilled it down to clear messages. So his first sentence isn't actually speaking to the market that he serves. It's saying what he does without that pain, right? And so those two things are some of the most important things. What do you actually do? Okay. If you use constant scale and you build AIO services, you might say build traffic without going live once. Build masses of traffic without worrying about social media. So those could be some of the differentiators you have. And then he backs it up with expertise. He only has 4 years, by the way. What's your excuse? That's not a ton of expertise. But the guy knows his stuff and he's consistent and he's showing up all the time. Here we go. Here's our clear differentiator. Here's our clear audience. So you want to niche down and serve a clear niche. So his niche is actually 3. And this is something I've taught. I do a lot. No more than groups of 3. This is not your industry. This is your person. Who is your person? So you got an industry. Maybe it's real estate. Maybe it's marketing. Could be broad. That's fine. Who is the person in that industry? So for Luke, it's founders, startups, and newsletters. So people that run newsletters, startup founders, and then AI founders. So he's done well because his content has mass appeal and he's actually able to speak to multiple people. So he can serve these groups of people. But when you're starting out, you're going to have more success, just period, if you niche down even more than this, right? So that's something I would highly recommend. But as you get bigger, as you get more clients, absolutely branch out. Find out who you like serving. Add in those up to 3 groups. Absolutely. So whenever you look at what Luke's doing, he's sharing consistent content 1 day, 2 day, 8 hours to go. And the content's good. So if you think about social media and your website, I actually don't use social media as much as I use my website because I don't want to have to sit here and write LinkedIn content every 6 hours. Right? I just don't. So you got to pick your battles and you got to pick your distribution channel. And if you pick just 1 or 2, then it's way more possible to get consistent and successful. So if you look at his website, I would say he's like not done a great job. The website's not that good. He's got some content there and the content's good, but like the layout's terrible. What is this? There's no supporting H3 here. I don't know what he's talking about. Okay, this is good. He's got video testimonials. He's got recommendations. That's great. Awesome. Book a call. All right. So the website isn't fleshed out well. So I would say don't look at Luke's website. He's obviously not using it. But again, that speaks to the method of distribution. You know, you pick one, you kill it. You kill it. People will notice. And so that's why we're building masses of traffic through our website, not socials. I'm kind of just testing around on social media. So that is a long nutshell on brand building. You really want to look like a pro. Don't cut corners. Be consistent. And then really, really work on that formula. Who do you help? What did you help them achieve? And what do you help them avoid doing? What's that pain point that they never have to worry about again if they hire you? Cha-ching! Sign me up. We're creating that magnet, right? That has no resistance. You want to think about, you just want to pull people into your ecosphere in a way where they will never, ever want to leave. And if you nail your messaging, it's going to happen. It's pretty magic too. I'll tell you, the best thing ever is to get emails where you have sales rolling in and you haven't gotten out and actually like knuckled it to go get that client. They found you. And that's the power of inbound content. All right. So I think we are going to wrap. We could spend hours and hours, honestly, because I feel like this was just the beginning. What did we talk about today? John, I'll bring you on stage. Did we talk about like avoiding selfies and taking professional pictures and upgrading your mic? No, we didn't talk about that. We could. All the little things that actually make a difference. You'd be surprised. They really, really do make a big difference. But if we didn't cover your questions, drop them in either now or if you're on the replay, then too, I'm always looking at the YouTube channel, so I'll get back to you. And I'd love to see you back here in our community for another live stream, because this is one of my favorite things, is helping people actually achieve big transformations through their skill sets. And I think that AI is such an opportunity, and it's how we use that and how we just kind of like ditch our own mind nonsense and all the things our brain tells us we can't do. We got to ditch all that. And remember, people like Luke Matthews started out at zero. They were once at nowhere. It's up to the people that take life in their own hands and say, I'm going to do something with this. I'm going to create content, even if it feels like I'm in an echo chamber, even if it feels like nobody's listening, I'm still going to publish content consistently. Get that out there and then measure for success. All right, John, did I miss any questions?
No, we addressed all of them. If you guys have more questions, for example, if you're in Content Hacker community, but you're not quite a Content at Scale user yet, go to the homepage, check out contentscale.ai. There's even, poke around, but there's even a like a little chat icon in the bottom. I believe it's the bottom right corner of our homepage. Go ahead and ask us, if you remember right after this call, a question you might have, go ahead and ask us there.
Good idea. Yeah. And that is actually an AI chatbot, right, John? And they can get straight
it's both.
To
so we have a mix of chatbot and human. I think that one's mostly human. Yeah. I think it even says talk to a human, and it'll route you very quickly to a human.
I love that. Yeah. Sometimes the bots just don't cut it, especially whenever it's a human wanting to talk to a human. You can't get past that one with a bot. It's hard. Well, this was such a great hour. We had some good people joining, listening, that stayed through the whole time. So I really appreciate you all and your time and being a part of this community with us. Really couldn't do it without you. Obviously I can't teach to nobody. It's great when you got a great audience. It really is. So we'll be back here with more classes. If you're not in Content Hacker community, definitely consider joining, because we were going to run this just in the community, but community broke. So we had to, the technology in the community broke. So when Circle didn't work, we went to YouTube. So if you're watching this from YouTube, think about joining contenthacker.com/community. That is my community I run with John here, our head of strategy and success, where we help people, entrepreneurs, agency owners, marketers, build long-lasting businesses now using, drum roll, AI content. So new days we live in. Absolutely. Steve said great stuff. So glad to hear that. Awesome. Well, like I said, we couldn't do this without you guys. So appreciate your feedback, being open to ask hard questions, to escape the mind junk that often holds us back. Kudos to you for, challenging inner belief. I know how hard it is starting a business, and growing it once you start it is not easy. So I'm here to cheer you on and help you keep going and be encouraged. Javier says, just starting the AIO blogger course, hope to make money soon. Well, we'll help you on that journey. Keep us posted how that goes, questions that you have as you go through that course, which is contenthacker.com/course. Another plug, shameless plugs here at the end. But yeah, keep us posted on how that course goes for you. There's a chat associated with that course in Circle, the platform that we use. So you can use that chat thread to post anytime questions. And they'll get straight to me and John. We can help you out there. But yeah, kudos to your journey making income with this new skill set. I'm telling you right now, I have a blog, a video on it. John shared it a little bit ago. If I was starting an agency all over again, this is how I would do it. I would really position on AI. And it's a huge way to win because it removes so much of the hard work and the headache of having to go and basically put together your own army of humans. You don't have to do that anymore. You can have a lean, mean machine. Oh, John Javier says, place the link here and I'll do it. I think he's looking for the AIO blogger course link. That's contenthacker.com/course. So definitely join that course if you haven't. I know we have several people here in that. It's called the AIO blogger course. And after about, I want to say 6 months of working in content at scale, 6 to 7 months, I created this course I got to see just hundreds of use cases of people that were making money blogging and building traffic with content at scale. So I got to teach other people how to do this. This is amazing. So that course came to life. And I was also able to embed in that course some of the last 3 lessons take you through what I call the CEO mindset, which is something we don't learn. We don't know this by default. We often, because we're trained in school in institutionalized ways of thinking, we are trained, it's on purpose to keep us as workers. We're trained to be reactive and not play offense. And so you have to cultivate a new mindset that I call the CEO mindset, where you take charge of yourself, your life, your choices, your decisions, and you can get ahead way faster. A lot of you probably already know that. I mean, we have some expert people here that are not, babies and brand new at what they do. So you might already have the right mindset. But if you don't, or if you're feeling a little bit adrift, those last few lessons in the course, it's in the 3rd module, will really help you out and boost that mindset. So you got to build it. It's a daily thing, right? It's like just today, like I was in my kitchen washing dishes and I'm like, today is such a great day to have a great day. And I just said that aloud. And my kids, my husband were there and they were like echoing it in the background. It's every day you really have to make a choice. Like today, I'm going to conquer life. You have to do that every day because our own minds are our greatest enemies. And we often only compete with ourselves. So anyway, soapbox aside.
Good soapbox.
Good soapbox. That's good. It was great to be here with you all. It really was. Loved this past hour. Thanks for hanging. And as John said, go to constantscale.ai if you're not familiar with our site yet or the software. And if you are already, I'll see you in the Content Hacker community, where we will run a lot more of these types of classes, trainings. We'll have guests. We have all kinds of good stuff. Hours with John, where we go over content at scale. All kinds of good stuff in that community and lots of resources you can go through too. So we'll see you hopefully on the other side of something here. We'll see you continued around the internet. But it was great to be here with you all. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.